welcome to Connect 36 presents the People's Cast. I am King Bear in the building.
Comedian CJ Trowers.
Michelle K.
Peace, guys. Staten Island, New York.
And we're rocking and rolling today. We've got a heck of a show. You know, it's been a while. We've all been on vacations, and you know, I'm as you can't tell, I'm happy to be back. So, you guys ready to do it?
Yep.
All right. Without further ado, let's get to it.
And we give it back to you, the people.
I wanna see you. Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you, how close is too close?
Huh?
Just let it sink in. This is the real topic, so take down your guard, brother.
I'm saying to what?
How close is too close? And here's the example. Say, as a parent, at what point does physical interaction with your child become cringy? You're the opposite sex parent of your child. Say you're a father and you have daughters, you know, and when your daughters are 1 year old, 2 years old, them sitting on your lap and hugging daddy, it's cute. Absolutely harmless, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So at what point does that same behavior that you already doing with your child become now crossover to become taboo and cringy?
When I started giving baths to my daughter, showers and stuff to my kids about 4, when they could do it pretty much for themselves at that point, 4 or 5. Let's sit on my lap.
Or is there a point? Because this is your child.
They kind of, to be honest, girls a lot of times they kind of wean themselves off. This shit ain't even cool to them no more. At a certain point, the love yous, the extra affection, that shit weans off by 11, 12 anyway. So you ain't really gotta be like, oh, that's cringy, because it's not cool for them to do shit anymore anyway.
So
they hit puberty, they're like boys. It's just not the same thing for them. So for me, at least showers and stuff like that, about 4, 5. At that point, they should be able to do it themselves.
Now, based on your answer, is that how you feel about it? So you're projecting that, or is that literally what your daughters wanted? Like, because I know your middle daughter, right. She seems like she's a daddy's girl for real, right? So she's way beyond 4.
No, they've showered themselves, but they are very clingy.
Right.
Right.
So your middle child, will she still try to sit on daddy's lap?
Yeah,
she seems like she would.
Yeah, she's still sitting on my lap. Yeah.
So then you cutting off that behavior is not cringy then?
No, for her, because I remember one time my oldest daughter was somewhere and she had said, I had given her a shower, and the way she explained it, it made it seem like I touched her, and the woman looked at me funny. And I was like, from that moment on, I lotioned her. I was lotioning her back because she can't obviously get to her back. And the way the lady looked at me, I was like, I don't like that feeling. The way she looked at me, like I touched her in the wrong way. And because she's 4 or 5 years old, she didn't describe it in the most articulate way. So I was like, about this point, yeah, I'm gonna stop doing all that. So for the most part, my kids do all that stuff to themselves when they undress or anything like that. But like sitting on my lap, yeah, it's based on how they feel. I'll give them kisses, I'll give them hugs, but if they sit on my lap, cool. I'm big on them not sitting on other men's lap. I'll be like, yo, don't sit on no other man's lap. But let's say, you know, Papa or, you know, Uncle Tony, blah blah blah. But outside of that, yeah, I don't be tripping.
Yeah, but so you base your relationship with your other daughters based on when your eldest daughter thought it was cringy?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Well, I mean, now you cutting off.
I mean, I'm not
emotions that your other daughter might have.
No, because I'm talking about only when they undressed, they're not dressed. That part. I'm talking about. And the other thing, like they sit on their laps, I don't have no problem with that. Because I know my oldest is different from my other two. My other two are super affectionate, very much daddy's girls. Jasmine was to a degree, but not as much as they are.
Right.
So I based on how they are, I leave room for that still to be affectionate and nurturing in those areas because I know that's what they need. Before I go to work, I can't leave without giving them a kiss and giving them a hug and telling them good day. If I do, they'll call me and, Daddy, why you left without us? So I understand how they are. Even coming here, I can't leave their presence without giving them some level of affection.
Right.
So,
Peace, God. You got a daughter, right? You got one or two daughters?
I have two daughters.
Two daughters.
One is my stepdaughter. I raised since she was 8 years old, and then I have a 13-year-old daughter.
Okay.
Now I've always. Okay, so I was in a previous relationship where it's a house full of boys, right? I got two older sons, and you know what I'm saying? It's, you know, the dynamic is different because it's a boys and a girls thing, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not the type of guy. Okay, I definitely respect the boundaries, right? So I never put no creepy energy out to my oldest daughter, and even to my daughter. So I think, you know what I'm saying, around 8 years old, a kiss on the forehead is suffice. You know what I'm saying? A kiss on the forehead, and, you know, the occasional hugs, you know what I mean? That is fine. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, the kiss on the mouth or the, you know what I'm saying, even kisses on the cheek or what have you, like, it ain't got to be the thing. The same sentiment is inferred with a kiss on the forehead. You know? And look, like, my daughters and I even have a handshake now. So it's like, yeah, I'll still give you a kiss on the forehead or what have you, but it's not the daily thing, right? So when I see you, we're in spaces together or what have you, I just stick my hand out and we just do the handshake. Bam, bam, you know what I'm saying? 2 fist bumps. And, you know, we pretty much keep it moving. But the words I love you never stop flowing. That, you know what I mean? That I'm always going to be overt with those words because I mean it. They need to, you know what I'm saying? They need to hear that.
Right. That's part of the validation process.
Right. But the sitting on my lap thing, I think, well, first off, my stepdaughter never did that. Never sat on my lap. That's not.
Is that because she didn't want, or it's something that you didn't think that would be a good line to cross?
I think that we set, I think the unspoken boundaries were understood very early. You know what I'm saying? So it was never a discussion. You know what I mean? But yeah, as far as my youngest daughter, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, she be a bit affectionate, climbing all over me like I'm a jungle gym and stuff like that. But I think all of that stopped around 9 years old. So, I mean, there's nothing really to it but that. I just kind of go above and beyond, you know what I'm saying, to keep those boundaries up, you know what I'm saying? Because you know, as my daughters get older, I am the archetype of what they're going to seek out relationships. So having those established boundaries, it means something. There's a message in there for them. I don't know if I can say, I don't know if I have the words for it, but, you know, it's, you know, what's understood don't got to be spoken about.
All right. But now let me ask you this. When
sure.
the daughter that came out of you versus the daughter that was given to you, you know the difference that I'm talking about. Because that's the only way I can make a differentiation, you know, because that's how I do it with my kids. Were they in the same household together?
Yeah.
Okay, so then the daughter that you were given actually watched the daughter that came out of you get a lot more affection than she did. I mean, based on what you said,
probably.
Okay, so being that women are emotional creatures, you don't think that sent a cross message?
I think that she has a dad.
Okay.
That, you know what I'm saying, that she's, you know, that he's marginally active. in her life, and she gets to share that affection with him. But I am like, there's other messages of, that show that I love you just as much, right? Out of respect for my wife, out of respect for my oldest daughter, and out of respect for my oldest daughter's father. We established those boundaries, those unspoken boundaries, and we live by it. I mean, her and I have a fantastic relationship. Obviously, we give each other hugs and all of that stuff, and the kiss on the forehead thing, that's there. But, anything, I never changed her Pampers. I wasn't there with her in her formative years. I came around when she was cognizant of certain human behavior.
Right.
Meaning of, having a mom and a dad and understanding that they love you the same, but the love gets a little different. And then you have a kind of, what do you call, a mixed household and all of that stuff. Those other, I guess, detailed, I use air quotes for that, detailed items, those are the things that my wife has been very much on top of for most of my daughters. So I really don't have to delve in that. My daughters know that they're protected, that they're safe. My oldest daughter's father knows that when your daughter's around me, she's safe. And I think that was the best message that I can send. Okay. To give an environment, that your child is going to be able to grow up in a safe, stable household, and you're able to grow and learn and, function appropriately in society.
Okay.
That's the message that I was able to send, and that still holds true today with my youngest daughter.
All right.
Except she doesn't, my daughter, the only difference between the two is that my youngest daughter got to climb around on me like a freaking jungle gym. But none of them seen me in my boxers. None of them seen me in some, inappropriate situations. I definitely going above and beyond, to shelter that. Now I feel like I'm rambling, so.
All right, so let's mix it up. So, Michelle K, you being on the opposite side of the tracks. With you having your son, because we know you guys son and daughter, was there an age that you thought that, okay, I need to back down, or basically did he choose that for you, or how did that transpire when you first started?
He pretty much chose that because he was very open at showing me whatever. I just was never prepared for it,
No.
But they was. I don't know. But yeah.
No,
I told you it's one of them topics.
No, but yeah, he wouldn't show me now. He would probably cover up, but he'll like show around it, or if we have an issue or something like that. He's not really that shy, but I don't be wanting to see it. I don't be wanting to know, but I guess.
What we talking about?
He said.
You talking about affection, or what we talking about?
I was talking about affection. She going to her son, showing her the meat.
Yeah, I was like,
she took it all the way to the butt.
You stop looking at it, right? You said when you stop, what age?
I meant showing you like affection. Mommy and kissing on mommy and clingy to mommy and stuff like that.
That sounds like, what the fuck are you talking about? He hides it.
I was never a big thing on kissing my kids on the mouth. I never wanted anybody else to kiss the kids on the mouth. Like, you can do the cheek, the forehead, or something, but don't do it on the mouth.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, just I won't do that.
All right, I'm gonna take this left for a quick second because there's plenty to go back on that. But where do you guys think that comes from? Because it seems unanimous on that. Because all three y'all like, oh no,
because so much kids been growing up in the black community with them being touched and molested and stuff like that.
But that's every community. It's not just the black community.
I think I want to say it's more prevalent, but it happens and we don't talk about it enough. And we always had that family member that we know, hey, this person might touch that kid. Don't leave Uncle such and such alone in the room with the kids. It's the like he said, the thing that's known but it's not talked about. So because we don't talk about it, it's already built in our head, in the back of our head. We gotta protect us at any cost, even from ourselves.
Okay, so instead of holding Uncle Petty to his feet to the fire, we're quick to just brush under the fact that he does that and just protect our own kids from him.
I mean, I'm sure there's a few people that beat Uncle what's-his-face ass, or maybe they just kept him in distance at bay, away from the kids. So it's either those two extremes. Either they caught him or whatever, or they understood and they handled him, or they just said, all right, the kid's sitting on his lap, no, get him up off his lap. That kind of gesture. So I think it's more of that, like understanding that those things are out there and you want to kind of protect your kid's innocence as much as possible.
Right, but then you turn around and you project that protection onto yourselves. Like, if you know that you're 100% safe, you know that you won't ever do anything to your kids to harm them, you know that you will spend the rest of your life in jail for doing harm to somebody else who would do something to your kids, why do you base your limitations with your kids on what other people's visions or other people's thoughts might be with what you do with your own children?
I think because when you talk to your kids, especially when I talk to my kids, I speak to them about like Peace God said, boundaries, right? You know, make sure nobody touch you here, make sure they don't touch you there, so on and so forth. So by me showing them, you know, living what I'm saying is me saying, hey, all right, at a certain point, this is what you should be doing on your own. This is the type of stuff. So anybody who's doing it after this point, it's a problem. You need to let daddy know, you need to let mommy know. So I don't want to blur those lines from, well, you do it up to this. No, I'm establishing that even me being that person should stop after a certain point. And you should be able to take care of yourself. You should be able, I'm a firm believer on independence for children anyway. If my children are independent of me, more and more independent of me every year, I'm feeling them as a parent. I don't want you to be that level of relying on me, that level of needing me as necessary. Because at 18, like I tell my daughter, I'm in the guidance phase of your life. I'm no longer have to hands-on take care of you and your life depends on me. Mm-hmm. So every year, I want you to be less and less dependent on me and to a point where you can take care of yourself. Because if I leave, I need the comfort of knowing that you can take care of yourself at a certain point. So this is a part of me phasing that out as me being so hands-on and you kind of getting close to the edge of the nest and me saying go ahead and fly. So that's my thought process, right? I need you to be able to watch yourself. Go behind your ears. Even now, my son's 3 years old. I'm teaching him, you know, as I'm giving him a shower. Hey, Christian, here, grab the rag, clean behind your ears, clean this. It is me showing him this is what you need to be able to do to take care of yourself. So I can start laying hands off and you can start doing more and more on your own. So it's not just about that. It's more of independence and teach you as well. Hey, you need to go ahead and be able to do some of this stuff as well. But I set certain boundaries and the boundaries don't stop with just such and such. It starts with me as well. So I am being shown a consistent message because what children will understand is what you do, not necessarily what you say, right? So you got to be able to not be a hypocrite and show a consistent message. Yeah, I love you. I'm gonna show you love in other areas, in other ways, but certain things at certain points, I need you to understand. You know, be mindful of this, be mindful of that. So that's where it's the conditioning.
Okay. Now, but in doing that, aren't you building in a level of fear to your children when it comes to physical contact with people? What's good, what's not good, what is emotionally appropriate versus what's not based on your physical contact with your child?
The world is a fearful place. It's a scary place. I want to build a level of healthy fear in my children. I don't want them to be fooling shit all willy-nilly. I want them to have a certain level of fear.
Now that's you speaking from a rational mindset, but that's not an emotional mindset that's receiving that message.
To the girls, to my daughters?
Yeah.
I mean,
So that's where it can get crossed. So, and that's what I'm just trying to get at and trying to understand. Because what you're intending the message might be, that's how a lot of females come up with, I'm not pointing at you, but that's how a lot of women end up with quote unquote daddy issues. And it's not because daddy wasn't there. It's a lot of misinformed messages that daddy meant for it to be intended one way, that when they were younger, they didn't understand what the message he was trying to give in based on emotional creature versus logical creature.
So with me, I can't speak for anybody else. I make sure whenever I'm doing something, I double down with a conversation of understanding. Okay. I'm big on rationalization. If I discipline you, whether it's I spank you or I take something away, I give my rationalization to you. Why? Because I'm trying to curve behavior. Anything a child does is a symptom of the bigger problem. If they flipping shit over, they screaming, they are on the floor, it's a bigger issue. Then I'm not just handling the symptom. What made you do this? And I'm going to ask you, what made you thought that was okay to do what you did? And as we start getting that, well, this is what it does to daddy. This is what it does to you. This is what we should not be doing. Do you understand? So I'm curving behavior. So even when I'm doing the things I'm doing, I'm not doing as much or so and so, I'm explaining to them along the way, this is why I'm doing this. And in the absence that avoided this, other things will happen and take place. You're not going to miss out. I am just filling that void with something else. I'm shifting it into another direction. So it's not like they won't know, oh, daddy stopped doing such and such, but I still can give them hugs. I still can give them, kiss on the cheeks. I can still, whatever. So it's not what I'm taking away on this area will now get fulfilled on another area. And they'll understand that transition.
Okay. Michelle, let me ask you. So based on what CJ was saying, if you had a child with him or with a man that was the thought process, would you think that he was giving a female child what she needed emotionally so that she would be able to understand it? Just based on what he said.
I mean, yeah, because he's not taking away anything.
Right.
He's just showing he's just explaining it in a different way. It's just opening your eyes to a different point, a different side of things. Because, even though he's not doing everything, he's still showing affection and all that in other ways. So he's just limited on it. Kissing on somebody's lips and stuff, that's kind of personal and affectionate. So that's a little, little kids don't understand that, at that age. So, they think it's cool to be kissing anybody if they start off, kissing on the lips and then.
Right. Kids don't understand fear until we put it in them.
True.
That's what innocence is.
Would it be fear or is it just be trying to get them
cautious.
to understand?
Yeah, it's cautious.
I don't know if it's exactly
well,
fear, unless
you can wrap the gift up however you want, whatever wrapping you want, but the gift is still the gift. I mean, fear, cautious, apprehension, it's still you telling the kid, beware of something that before I said this, you had no idea of.
But if I didn't, the other side of it is they get hurt or lose their life, and I wish I had said something to put some fear in them. It's the reason why they say you strike the fear of God into your kids, right?
Absolutely. Right. But then there's also another side of the tracks where because you didn't show your kid and teach them the side of emotions and contact and setting up boundaries in a healthy way, now your kid or your female grows up in this tomboyish state where they're like, yo, men can't touch me. Now they go into that route. And what's stopping that? I'm sorry for that, but go ahead. Will you?
My youngest daughter has an issue with, we always had, me and her mama talked about being over affectionate, like just sitting in any random person's lap or just being in their face and kind of like, hey, we had this conversation about just doing that, sitting in random man's lap or anybody else like that, disclosing too much information, being too comfortable. I have to put that level of fear in her for her to understand, because my daughter, she's fearless to a default. She has some level of me in her, but it's still like, all right, man, I need you to understand that things can happen when you don't have this level of thought process, because everybody doesn't have the best intentions when it comes to children, right?
Right.
Kids can be touched, they can be kidnapped, all type of shit. Like, it's times that she goes around the corner and she wants to go get something that her favorite Pop-Tart, but now she's out of my view, and now I gotta explain to her why I'm yelling at you because I just told you do not get out of my sight. Whatever you need, stay within here. We'll go together to the next aisle. Because you 6, you ain't got no cell phone. They gotta put the hands around your mouth and then get you up out of here. And now what? So I think the level of fear and affection stuff is always a fine balance, but it's a necessity. It's necessary, especially for children. I got a boy now, so I'm trying to learn how to balance that out. My mom always asks me about, me showing him affection. I kiss him in the forehead, kiss him in the cheek, give him a dap, give him hugs, stuff like that. Affectionate with him that way, but again, it's always that fine balance. I'm trying to figure out, what's enough affection to not make them feel like they're not getting it, and enough for them to feel like they could be mindful and discern to some degree of who may be harmful, who may have the best interest in it when they're mindful.
Which I'm 100% for. My only question becomes, at what cost does that become a thing? Because it sounds like what you and what P. Scott and a little bit of what Michelle K. is saying is you're willing to sacrifice your own affection levels with your child to teach them that the world's a big, bad, dangerous place. And
I'll say this. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll say this. You know what? I think society has gone a different direction.
Absolutely.
Right? So I think we're going. So I think society has taken the precautions, and in some instances, in a lot of instances, we're going way past careful. And the drawback effect to that is that children are not being emotionally developed like that because adults have to function now differently than in years past, right? I'll give you guys a quick example. You've seen it on TV, you've seen it all over the place. If a teacher has even just been accused of inappropriate behavior, that impacts them socially, financially, their professional career suffers. The accusation or the implication doesn't even have to be true.
That's true.
It's just the implication was made.
Like the dude that got his hair done. Dude that got his hair unbraided. All them kids agreed to it. Mm-hmm. Supposedly he talked to the parents the night before, but because he went on social media live and it was 3 or 4 girls unbraiding his hair, it was too close to his proximity. It looks inappropriate.
And that's where I was going with this, because basically, in my view, it's all a giant pendulum. And basically, our generation, we had it swung way to the left or right, doesn't matter, because we're not talking politics, so it ain't right or left. But the pendulum was swung way to the left, which was guard the kids, protect the kids at all costs. Even if it means that your kids are emotionally unbalanced because you don't show affection, but that's what you do. So their kids could grow up and they're protected. And now the pendulum has swung way past a level of sanity to the opposite side. And now it's, free love, nobody can hurt you, and if anybody speaks against that, they'll go after what's speaking against it. So if you come from that left side, they'll, instead of going against the
ideal,
the ideal of you trying to protect your children, they're going to attack you for not allowing your children to blossom or grow or do things out there. So you get attacked for doing what you think is right by your kids. So in my view or my opinion, I think the pendulum is swung way back. And as society is never, the pendulum is never stopped in the middle. Right. We just don't know how to do that. We as people, we can't just come to a point where things make sense. It's extreme left or it's extreme right. We've swung it way out of right, and these are the things now. But that's the reason why I bring this up to you guys now, because it's not it's no longer about Gen X and even the millennials. I mean, the millennials are 40 years old now, you know, and they're going to be phasing out soon. And the products of us and them are going to be running the world really soon. And they have it where every little thing that emotionally charges them is offensive. Whatever they feel is
it's
now
a diagnosis.
Rule. Right, it's a rule. Like, if I feel offended, you are wrong. Go to jail. Like, it's no longer an opinion. It's a rule.
Right.
And it all stems from, you know, it goes back much further than that, but we ain't got time in the show to really talk about where this truly stems from. But just going back from our generation, you know, we proverbially squeezed the soap so tight that now it's shot out of our hands, and now it's like literally all over the place. Like, we held on and protected our kids because our parents did that to us. You know, they told us, hey, come home when the street light comes on, don't be talking to strangers and all this. So that was embedded in us. So we passed a lot of that to our kids.
But a lot of times we still had a little more freedom to do certain things. Travel on the bus by ourselves, cross the street.
But see, and a lot of that, that's a regional thing.
Go to people's houses.
That's a regional thing. Because we up north had to do that. Because living up north, our parents had to work, so they couldn't. We all had to be latchkey kids, essentially. But down here in the South,
but there's a lot of New York kids that ain't doing that.
They weren't doing that. The parents still had to work, but these kids didn't spend the 3/4 of the day by themselves like we did.
There's still a lot up north there, because my mom will pick up my nephew up every day and walk him home. I said, Mom, you never pick me up from school and walk me home.
Well, she's a grandparent now. That's different, because her paradigm is shifted, and yours will too. Once you become a grandparent, that parent stuff's gonna go out the window. You ain't gonna treat your kids, your grandkids, like you treat your kids. It ain't gonna happen. That's just not how you built. I know you gonna want to.
I'll give you.
It ain't.
I'll give you guys a hypothetical based on everything we discussed today, right? So, you know what I'm saying? CJ and I both have daughters, right? And I'm throwing a cookout. You know what I'm saying? He pull up to the cookout or what have you with his daughter, my daughter. They're playing, they're chilling, and just like how kids do, come the end of the night, they're having a good time. They're gonna figure out a way, somebody to stay over, right? So we're chilling. So CJ sees my daughter come, sit on my lap, and, you know what I'm saying, kiss me on the, you know what I'm saying, damn near my mouth. Right on my cheek, but right near my mouth. But she's sitting on my lap. And she's 11. Right? Whereas CJ stopped doing that with his child when he was 4. So there's a perception thing there. Like, you ain't staying over that crib. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man, I stopped doing this shit with my daughter 7 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I feel comfortable with, you know what I'm saying, with my daughter staying over there. Now, even though the intentions are good, you know what I'm saying, your child is safe and all of that stuff, you're ultimately looking out for your child. And you're going to do what's in the best interest of your daughter and protect her, even if it hurts.
And I 100%.
You know what I'm saying? So, no sleepover.
Yeah, I get that. But,
you know what I'm saying?
But once again, see, that's from a logical father's standpoint. That's the protector's mindset. Right. But you got to be able to take the hat off and understand what's happening. To that child doesn't know what's going on. At first, you were like, let me think about it, or you didn't even know. Y'all been at the cookout all day. The kids been having fun. There was no problem. And then all of a sudden, you taking aggressive posturing. Nah, you can't spend it. Nah, you ain't staying over here. Like, wait a minute. I literally been playing with this little girl all day. Now all of a sudden it's like, yo, we gotta go home now. What happened? And in most cases, we as men, we think that it's good enough to just say, I'm protecting you, it's fixed, let's get out of here. And we don't take the time to explain to the daughters what happened and why it's a bad thing. And that's the thing.
Right,
even if you take the time to explain it, remember, from a kid's point of view, if all that happened was CJ kissed his daughter, or you kissed, or who kissed who in this scenario?
Peace God.
All right, so so if only thing that happened was CJ witnessed your daughter giving you affection by kissing you either on or close to your mouth, you know, and it's your daughter, and then even if he goes to try to explain it with aggressive posturing, his daughter's not going to understand that as, oh, okay, daddy's looking out. All she's going to say is, I like that little girl, and now daddy won't let me sleep over because Mr. Peace God is some sort of pervert. You see what I'm saying? Now, where's the message in that? So you're protecting at the sake of destroying things. Like, you're not protecting with building and understanding. So where do we draw the line?
Yes. But here's the thing. You know what I'm saying? It is our instincts. Yeah, listen, as parents, we all have parameters. You know what I'm saying? And if we see something that takes us out of our comfort zone, then we're going to act as if, and we're going to do the right thing, even if it, you know what I'm saying, even if it hurts. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to protect my child from even the remote possibility of something happening that's going to alter their behavior.
Right, but what I'm saying is, what gives you solace in believing that that's the right thing? Based on just because your father and your father before you and your father before you said that that's the right thing? Like, I mean, what is it based in? It's steeped in basically tradition, and it's not steeped in anything factual at that point.
Yeah, you know, that's that.
And then there's that. So
you know what I'm saying?
I'm just playing devil's advocate because I have daughters too, and those were given to me, and I absolutely feel the same way that y'all are saying, but I'm just trying to get open up lines for a perspective.
We're trying to identify the root cause of that mindset.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, I explain everything to my daughters so they can understand.
So they can understand? So a 6-year-old will understand that she can't spend the night at another 6-year-old's house because what would your explanation be in that hypothetical? Mr. Explain everything to your daughters, huh?
It's pretty much something like, at this time, I think it wouldn't be a good idea for you to spend the night right now. Daddy might doesn't feel exactly comfortable, and there may be another opportunity. So
I know both your little beautiful daughters. But why, Daddy?
They'll ask me why to death, and
then why, Daddy?
Eventually, it comes down to, nigga, I said so.
Exactly. So you're not explaining nothing. So now they're sitting in the back crying and pouting, and you're like, you know what? I protected them, and that's good enough for me. And well be it, that may be. But now you develop something in them. Now there's a little seed that now they have a doubt about something, and they have no idea what that doubt is. And 18 years from now, daddy issues are grown into a tree, and they don't even remember what the hell the seed was from.
Unfortunately, we live in a world to where those examples, you know what I'm saying, of parents not doing the right thing are plentiful. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's out there. Shit like that is out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those you'll understand when you get older.
Of war.
That's real dad of you.
I mean,
that's not good for a daughter, man.
Hey, I'd rather take a couple of not so.
Your daughter with daddy issues. There's dudes out here praying in the clubs looking for girls with daddy issues, right?
I was one of those guys. Yes.
All right. So you know how karma works.
First of all, I tell my daughter, my oldest daughter know a lot of this shit. I be telling them, this is game. This is what niggas say. This is game. But I also know niggas who are close to her age.
Okay, let me interrupt this class.
Hold on.
You knew the game, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever get gamed even though you knew the game? Oh, okay. Just making sure.
I just
unless we forget, who's Michelle K?
No.
what you heard about me. Oh, that's what I'm saying.
So
she know the game.
Remember, right?
But
And it still don't matter.
You still can get caught up a little bit.
I didn't say you can't. I'm saying.
Right, and you didn't just wake up and know the game. Like there was there's series of events. There's, you know what I'm saying? There's timeline issues. There's current events. There's celebrity drama in which, you know what I'm saying, that you have a takeaway from those from the observations, your personal observations of life, of whether of the person's famous or local or family members or what have you, and you're able to draw these conclusions on your own. And you know what I'm saying? And these things are wired into your instincts, your parental instincts.
All those are branches on a tree based on the seed that you planted.
I'll prune them.
Go with the bad, right?
I'll prune them.
How?
Remember when Daddy had
Missed all the answers.
This is why.
Don't trust these men because this is what they do. And be like, yeah, okay, Daddy, I won't. And that dude go up in the club and look fine to her and buy her drinks and then tell her what she needs to hear. She ain't gonna be thinking, Daddy said, don't listen to this type of dude.
Daddy ain't talking about
And then at the end of the night, she gonna be in the V formation.
That's the V formation.
Hey, I mean, we grown folk right now.
on the backseat on the floor.
I'm telling you, we
Not
grown
a
folk.
Ford.
On the floor, she said. We grown folk. Because you know you did it to people's daughters. You did it to people's daughters, please God. I did it. So, I mean, and it all starts because we know what to look for. Why? Because it's always there. Because the generations before us, the generations before us built these things into the females, and then we know how to find the keys. Because as fathers, we have been programmed that our only job is to protect above all else. Protect. If we don't understand our daughters, so what? We can't sacrifice protection if that means we have to understand and empathize. We must protect. That is first and foremost. Now, please understand, I'm not beating y'all up because I'm the first one to believe that myself. But I see it and I understand it. I don't turn it off because I'm the same damn way. But that's what it is. That's something that's been imbibed in us because the generations before us have always did it. So where do we stop doing that so that we can start making well-rounded young things that grow up that can recognize both sides of the game and be emotionally accepted and protected? And what does that even look like?
I'm sitting here thinking, hold on, I'm sitting here, what that looks like is me, you know what I'm saying, getting off of this podcast and going upstairs and thinking, you know what? The world needs hoes too.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get out of here. It's been a fun show. I've been King Bear in the building.
Comedian CJ Trowers.
Michelle, okay?
I don't know what you heard about me.
That's madam to you.
Why you forgetting your name? Hold on, Pete. Hold on.
Follow up with that, man.
Hold on. Come on, get it right. Come on. You know we gotta do this.
Madam Michelle, okay?
I don't know what you heard about me.
This is why I don't have my family watch shows.
Thanks again for stopping by. Peace, God. We love when you're here. Feel free to come through anytime, brother. All right, and we're gonna see y'all later. All right,
peace.
Peace.